All right. So this is my mother, Angela Harris. Um, so basically, I'm going to be asking you some questions about your life and mainly how it was different from how it is now. So since obviously you were born in the Philippines, you weren't born here, what's like some main things that you see that are different?
Different. I remember growing up, we live in a two-bedroom house, and we had neighbors that have kids, and of course, we didn't have cell phones. So every afternoon, after siesta, we always take a nap after lunch. We would all gather around from 4 to 6 before we eat dinner, and we would play, roll over in the grass. We have Bermuda grass then, and we would play with the plants. We would play with cans. We would play with slippers. We would play then was more interactive. We didn't have. We used sticks. We used nature, and to have somebody have a bike was already like a, cool thing. We always we shared. One would bike, and then okay, it's your turn. It's your turn. So it's like the bike for the whole community, and it was simple then. Summer we would play badminton. We would climb trees. We would make some like a simple ice cream. Life was different. It was a small town. Everybody was Catholic. We always went to church on Sundays. I remember at nighttime when the moon was full, we would stay out, have friends gather, and just talk till like 9 o'clock. And then everybody's parents start calling, everybody come home. So we all would go home. Or like we would all play, and then parents would start calling by 6, everybody come home. And some say, like, can I eat with you? Or can I eat with you? Or we switch food. It was fun. It was a good time.
So how did you go to Catholic school all your life?
I went to a Catholic private school all the way to high school.
So how was like what are certain things that you do at like a Catholic school that I wouldn't have done at like, Ellis or Cornetzer?
Okay, Catholic school usually you have your uniform. So have your daily uniform, which ours in elementary I had a white top and a checkered green, and it's white socks and black shoes. In high school it was like a white blouse with a blue, sort of like a jumper type attire, of course, black shoes, white socks. And we also have our gala uniform, which is some Wednesday or when it's a special occasion where everybody wears all this white long sleeve attire. Catholic school, you always pray the rosary every day on October, because it's Mama Mary's month. You always have a 1 hour of subject religion that you study the Catholic doctrines, teaching. You always have mass that you are entitled mandatory to attend. It's usually run by nuns and priests. The school is. It's more strict. I was glad that I had a Catholic schooling upbringing, private school. I was in tune more with values, with what morally what's the right thing to do.
You played volleyball and you were really good. Tell me about tell me about your position and your favorite things to do, if you had like any special plays that you like to.
Well, I did play volleyball from first year all the way to senior high school.
First year is that like middle school?
First year is like 10th grade.
Okay.
No, 9th grade, 9, 10, 11, 12. So over there in the Philippines, sixth grade is elementary, and then you go all the way to high school. First year, second year, third year, fourth year. I was the captain ball by the freshmen, and we were champion when we started with the sophomore year all the way to senior year. We beat everybody. We went through regionals. We could have gone to state, but all of our parents were strict, and they didn't want us. They were like, "You're not going to be a volleyball player, a professional volleyball player. We want you to do something else." No, nobody's going to go training there in Manila. No, so that's what happened. I was the captain ball. I was a spiker. I loved playing every afternoon. I didn't like to play with girls because girls are too. To me, they were like too soft, too lame. I like playing with boys because I get challenged. Of course, you have to watch because when they spike, they might hit you on the face. But I like the challenge. Those were my good memories of high school.
Do you regret like not going and playing, or do you think that it worked out?
It was enough. It was enough because had I continued, I could, I would physically, I would be more muscled, and I didn't really want that. And I knew that if I continue, there's really not a chance in the Philippines to be an athlete. When you get to 30, what kind of work, unless you teach or something. No, I wanted to be a nurse, so that's what made me stop.
So it kind of worked out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
What did you become a nurse? Did you study to become a nurse there, or was that a thing you did here?
I studied to become a nurse there. I have a bachelor's degree, so I did 4 years there. To be able to come here, you have to take the Commission on Graduates of Foreign Nursing School test. So that I took over there, and it is all English. And then there's another part that's English conversation, where they ask you, you talk to them in English, you have to understand conversation. So they know that you can impart care to American patients. And I passed that too. So when I came here, you have 3 months to take the licensure state board. So I did that. I took that first try because I did it in Arkansas. And then I had also a license in Louisiana. And then I moved here to North Carolina, and that's where I have a license now.
Did like, I know you learned how to drive a stick.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that if you drove a stick now, do you think you could still drive it? I mean, I assume you could.
I think, yeah, it's
You
just
think so?
something, driving in the Philippines is so much worse than driving in the US. People there don't follow rules. Like if you go to a four-way stop, and that's red. But if you don't see anybody, you go. And if there's 2 lanes there, and if it's so traffic, people will make a 3rd lane, believe it or not. And then like people there drive, like when I went back home after 19 years, I was horrified. I'm like, I can't drive here because, I mean, the clearances were just like this much, and people would, they don't follow the rules, unlike here in the US. And you don't know if everybody has insurance there too that's driving. You'll be like, oh my goodness.
What was your favorite food when you were there? Like, what if you could come home to have a food that was just there, like you could feel like, oh, I want this. What would that food be?
That would be what my mom used to cook. It's like you saute a few pieces of meat, and then you put okra, you put squash, you put green beans, and she has this special kind of sauce. It's a vegetable dish with a little meat. Some kind of like, the story of ratatouille. It's a simple vegetable dish, but when you eat it, it brings back all the memories when you're growing up that your mom used to cook that for you. Yeah, that's my special food. And you eat it always with rice.
Like if you went back today, or when you recently, how long ago has it been since you've been back to the
I went home, I think it was 2012.
Okay. So
we need to go back.
So yeah, we do. So how, like, is there a lot of we have like a lot of fast food here? Is there a lot of fast food there? I know there's I can't remember what it's called. There's one that I know that's always like that's
Jollibee.
Jollibee, yeah.
It's like the McDonald's here.
So is there like a lot of kind of different fast food, but it's like fast food from the Philippines, or is there just a lot of restaurants, or what is it like?
Well, there is Pizza Hut is in the Philippines, Starbucks is in the Philippines, Dunkin' Donuts is in the Philippines. Jollibee is the version of McDonald's, but Jollibee serves rice with vegetables, rice with the rice is the main ingredient. but in the Philippines, of course, they a lot of restaurants, but they serve seafood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Filipino dishes, which you can't find here because you get a lot of fresh food over there. So that's what I miss. You eat everything with rice too. So
Um, what like what is something that you would do like with your friends with Tita Bernadine on the weekends, or what would you go out and do with her or with your
we
friends?
would go to the beach. Tita Bernadine would drive this open back Jeep, and all of us will ride. And we would go to the beach, and we'll just bring, bread or uh, bananas or something. It's nothing really, because, we're high school and we didn't have that much money. And we would just go, or even in college, and just spend a day. And just, we don't even drink. We don't smoke. We don't drink. We just bring sodas and we just, you know, go to the beach and just talk and then come back in the afternoon. That's all. It's simple life. It's like very simple life.
Did you plan? I know because Tita Bernadine lives in Virginia. Did you plan to live like close together, or did it just kind of work out
It
that
just
way?
worked out fine. Tita Bernadine just happened to, she came in Virginia, was her sponsor, and then when she married, she went to New York and didn't like New York, and everything was expensive, so they gave her a 30,000 bonus if she'll come back. So she said,
So
why not? So she's in Virginia and she loves it.
if you could travel any place that's not back to the Philippines, or like not, well, obviously not here, where would you go, and like what would be the first thing that you would want to do when you get there?
Um, Places in Europe and look at their famous, what they're known for, and try their local dishes. Just immerse in their culture.
So what, like, if you could pick one specific place, like a specific country?
Specific country. I would probably go to where there's cool waters. Maybe I would go back to Hawaii because Hawaii is like tropical. It feels like you're still in the Philippines, but you're not. It's really a more developed, nicer place. And one side of the road is the mountains, and one side of the road is the ocean.
It's like familiar but not familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dishes and the flowers are close to the dishes in the Philippines. So.
Um, what is something that if you could, like, what is a hobby that you would do right now if you had to pick something? Like, what is your favorite thing to do?
Right now, I just love to read. Read and listen to music. That's calming to me right now. I mean, I sometimes wake up early at 4 o'clock and just read and listen to music. That's all.
So,
When you get to 50, you tend to do more the sedate kind of hobbies.
what is something that what would be your dream car? What would be your
Dream car?
Yeah.
An SUV. Something that I can use that's stable, that's big, that, children and their friends can ride, and I can load stuff in it. I don't want a small vehicle because it's never enough.
It's never
You
enough
guys-
space.
Yeah,
whereas
you guys
too
have
many-
friends, and I
there's too
always
many
end
of
up
us.
being the driver, dropping everybody. So
If you could have a house, like a house somewhere that you would like, you could go there as much as you could. Where would you put that house? It could be anywhere in the world
where would I put the house?
besides the Philippines and here. Well, I mean, it could be here, but it like can't be, in Knoxville.
Does it have to be like somewhere in Europe or something?
It could be in the States,
Just in the States?
or,
Well,
or it could be in the States, or it could be in.
anywhere where there's a beach or the lake, probably is what
Yeah.
I would do. Because I want to see a water.
Mhm.
I might not want to swim in the water, but I
It
still
reminds
want
you
to
of
see.
like the Philippines.
Yeah,
reminds-
because
yeah.
Philippines has a lot, it's surrounded. It's 7,100 islands surrounded by water.
So that's a really specific number. Is it
High
is it-
tide or low tide, that's when it matters too.
So like the islands get covered up whenever it changes.
Sometimes, yeah. So it goes up 100 difference or something.
Did you ever go like is spearfishing a thing there, or is like going out and like fishing a thing as it kind of is here?
Uh,
Because obviously it
no,
is, but would that be an activity that you would go and like?
no, growing up, I never spear fish. But you know what I did? I would shot air guns, BB guns, sort of. My father taught me. Yeah.
Like,
We
would
had a
you?
farm, a big, land, and he taught me, and he said, "Go in there," and shoot birds or something. Yeah.
So whenever you told me you used to like take care of pigs, and did you
Yeah.
have chickens? Like how was?
We had chickens. We grew up having chickens. We fed them rice, and then we had 3 pigs. Oh my gosh, I have me and my 2 younger sisters. So each pig corresponds to us. So each of us, and we always like certain time of the year we cut it and sell it to the neighbors, and then we had also pigeons. The pigeons follow my father when he goes to work. And people come, like for weddings, they would buy like a pair. And you know how pigeons, they always come back. So we had like a bunch, and we were like, we already sold this too, why are they back here? But, that's just how it
It's
is.
just how it is. Yeah. So I know that you had Tita Bernadine as like that was your friend in high school. So
Yes.
who was your friend like what was your friend group like? Is it anything like mine where it's a whole bunch of people all the time, or is it
High school, I had like my volleyball group.
okay?
Yeah.
Teams kind of make it easier to have
Yeah,
friends. Yeah,
so
I get
we
that.
we call ourselves Squad 87. So
Is that
because that's where we graduate the year,
Okay,
Squad
yeah.
87. And then elementary, I still have one best friend that I get in touch every now and then through Facebook. She's in Canada. She's my best friend. All through elementary. Her name's Girly. She's married to an Indonesian. She has 2 kids, grown kids.
her name is like girly like
Yeah, her
name is
real
like
name
girly.
is Hazel, but her over in the Philippines, you call us by the nickname, not by the
Everyone
first
has
name.
a nickname. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like me, I'm Angela, but they don't call me Angela. They call me Baby. That's my nickname. For the ones really close, they call me Bingat.
What does that mean? Is it the same thing or is it?
Well,
just,
my aunt, I have an aunt. One on my father's side. Her name's Bing Bing, and they say I act like her. So they kind of like it's my pet name, and they call me Bingat. Bingat. So.
What was your favorite class to take in school? Like what was your favorite subject?
Science. I love science. Yeah. I hate math.
But
But my father was an accountant, so he was really good in math. I remember he would total, without looking, and he'll total with his pencil like that. And I'm like, I didn't get that gene, but my sister and my nieces all got that gene. They're really good in math.
Alright.
So, and I think you got it too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. We did a little bit more than 10 minutes, but I think
Hope you learned something.
I think it works out very well. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.